Today, we're diving into a phone that really made waves when it launched, the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Back in September 2024, this thing was everywhere. The headline feature? That massive 6.9-inch display, the largest ever on an iPhone. Apple also promised seriously impressive battery life, a new titanium build, and a dedicated camera control button that had mobile photography fans curious. All of that came with a premium price tag starting at $1,199. Initial reviews were mostly positive. People loved the vibrant screen, the upgraded cameras, and the premium build. But let's be real, the price raised eyebrows. And while Apple Intelligence was introduced, it was more of a teaser than a fully functional feature at launch. Now here we are, 6 months later. I've been using the iPhone 16 Pro Max as my daily driver since its release, and I've had enough time to really get to know what it's like living with it. So today, I want to cut through the hype and give you my honest take. Is it still worth the hype? Does it live up to its promises? Let's find out how the iPhone 16 Pro Max actually holds up in the real world. Unboxing the iPhone 16 Pro Max felt instantly familiar. If you've used an iPhone before, you'll know the routine. But there's no denying this one's bigger. For someone like me who's used to large phones, that massive 6.9-inch display was a real treat. It gave me more room to browse, edit photos, and multitask with ease. That said, using it one-handed for extended periods did get tiring. The size is definitely noticeable in daily use. Now, battery life. Apple hyped it up big time, and honestly, I noticed the improvement right away. Even with heavy use, I was consistently getting through an entire day with power to spare. Compared to my last iPhone, it's a big step up, and one of the most practical improvements I've enjoyed. Let's talk about the titanium frame. Apple switched to Grade 5 titanium this year, promoting better durability and a lighter feel. After 6 to 7 months of daily use, it's held up well. I've had the occasional accidental bump or drop, and there's no serious damage. That said, I have noticed a few tiny scuffs along the edges. Little hairline marks that don't affect performance but are still visible. So, while titanium is definitely tough, it's not completely immune to wear. Now, the display. Apple's ceramic shield is supposed to be 50% tougher than the previous version and twice as strong as other smartphone glass. Sounds great, right? But here's the twist. In real-world use, I've noticed light scratches building up faster than I expected. And I'm not alone. A lot of users have reported the same thing. For a phone at this price point, it's kind of frustrating. You'd expect better scratch resistance, especially when the marketing is all about how durable it is. Even the new camera control button, which uses sapphire crystal, a material known for high scratch resistance, showed signs of wear in early durability tests. It makes you wonder if the scratch resistance across the board is more hype than reality. Now, let's talk about the display. Easily one of the best parts of this phone. The 6.9-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED panel is stunning. Colors are vibrant, blacks are deep, and everything looks sharp and crisp. The 120 Hz adaptive refresh rate makes scrolling and animations buttery smooth, and the always-on display is genuinely useful for quick glances at the time or notifications. Those ultra-thin bezels also give the screen a really immersive feel. That said, brightness in direct sunlight isn't perfect. It's good, but not the absolute best out there. A few early reviews mentioned it, and I'd say my experience backs that up. It's visible, but sometimes not ideal under harsh light. Performance-wise, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is an absolute beast. It runs on Apple's A18 Pro chip built on a 3-nanometer process, and it shows. Whether I'm editing videos, playing demanding games, or jumping between multiple apps, it's handled everything effortlessly. 7 months in, and it still feels lightning fast and incredibly smooth. There were some reports of minor software bugs early on, but I personally didn't run into anything major. Still, it's a reminder that even with top-tier hardware, software optimization really matters. Battery life was one of Apple's big promises with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, thanks to its 4,060 mAh battery. And honestly, it's lived up to the hype. Even after 7 months, the battery still performs impressively well. Sure, you expect a little degradation over time, but for me, it hasn't been enough to affect daily use. I still get through a full day on a single charge, even with heavy use. That said, I've heard from a few others who've noticed a more significant drop in battery health. It really depends on how you use and charge your phone. Frequent fast charging or extreme temperatures can take a toll. But in general, Apple's claims of excellent battery life have held up. It's definitely one of the strongest features of the iPhone 16 Pro Max. The iPhone 16 Pro Max launched with iOS 18, and since then, we've seen a few updates. We're currently on iOS 18.4. These updates have brought the usual mix of bug fixes and small improvements, which is always welcome. One of the most anticipated features was Apple Intelligence, but the rollout has been slower than expected. A lot of the headline AI features still aren't fully available, which has left some users feeling a bit let down, especially considering how much hype there was at launch. As for overall software stability, iOS 18 has been somewhat inconsistent. While some users have had a smooth experience, others have dealt with bugs, performance hiccups, and even app crashes. The 18.4 update, in particular, has reportedly introduced new issues for some users, especially with CarPlay. Personally, my experience has been mostly stable, but it's clear that software polish is still a work in progress. Now, let's talk cameras. The iPhone 16 Pro Max packs a triple lens system, including a 48-megapixel main lens, a 12-megapixel periscope telephoto lens with 5 times optical zoom, and a 48-megapixel ultra-wide lens. After 7 months of use, I'm still pretty impressed by the overall performance. Whether in bright daylight or low-light settings, it consistently delivers high-quality photos and videos. One standout feature is the upgraded 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera, which is fantastic for macro photography. It captures incredible detail, making close-up shots look sharper and more vibrant. The 5x optical zoom is also a huge plus. You can zoom in without losing much quality, giving you a lot of versatility in framing your shots. For video, the iPhone 16 Pro Max continues to impress with features like 4K recording, Dolby Vision, HDR, ProRes, and even spatial video. The audio mix feature adds more control over the sound in your videos, which is great for creators. However, the camera control button remains a bit controversial. Some people love it for quick access to the camera, but I find it a little unnecessary and awkward at times. The gestures can be a bit clunky, and its placement could be better. While its integration with visual intelligence for object recognition shows promise, it's still not perfect. Now let's be real. The iPhone 16 Pro Max isn't perfect. It has its downsides, and after 7 months of daily use, I've definitely noticed them. For starters, the sheer size and weight of the phone can be a challenge. If you're used to smaller or lighter devices, using this thing one-handed for long periods might be uncomfortable. It's not exactly the most ergonomic iPhone Apple's ever made. Charging is another area where Apple still lags behind. While battery life is great overall, charging speeds remain relatively slow compared to what you get from other flagship phones, especially from brands like OnePlus or Xiaomi. It's 2025. We should have faster, more efficient charging. Then there's iOS 18. While it brought some cool features and updates, the experience hasn't been completely smooth. Some users have had a stable experience, while others have run into bugs, performance hiccups, and app crashes. And perhaps the biggest letdown? That screen. Apple's ceramic shield was supposed to be tougher and more resistant to scratches, but in reality it seems a bit too easy to damage. I've seen light scratches on mine and heard from plenty of others with similar complaints. For a flagship device with such a premium build, that's a real concern. So, what's the verdict after 7 months? The iPhone 16 Pro Max is still a powerhouse, no doubt about it. The display is stunning, the performance is top tier thanks to the A18 Pro chip, and the camera system is incredibly versatile and reliable. For someone upgrading from an older iPhone like the 12 or earlier, this will feel like a major leap forward in almost every category. But if you're on an iPhone 14 or 15 series, the jump might not feel as dramatic. And with the iPhone 17 series expected in just a few months, likely September 2025, now might not be the best time to invest in the 16 Pro Max. There's also talk of an iPhone 17 Air, which could be thinner and lighter, something a lot of users have been asking for. So if you already own the iPhone 16 Pro Max, upgrading to the 17 will depend on how big those changes really are. If you're excited about potential improvements in design and camera hardware, it might be worth waiting. At the end of the day, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is still a premium device in Apple's ecosystem. But competition is fierce, especially from Samsung and Google. That's my honest take after half a year of use. Let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.